Network in association with FrankWarren.tv and sponsored by the News of the World, Big On Boxing proudly present live and exclusive on ITV1 in the United Kingdom and on HBO in the USA. The main event of the evening, 12 3-minute rounds for the WBO IBF Super Middleweight Championship of the World. Sanctioned by the British Boxing Board of Control. Steward in charge, Mr. Charles Giles. WBO supervisor from San Marino, Italy, Signore Eduardo De Cipolle. IBF supervisor from New Jersey, USA, Mr. Lindsey Tucker. Timekeepers at the bell, Mr. Gary Brennan and Colin Roberts. At ringside, the three judges scoring this contest from Manchester, England, Mr. Phil Edwards. From Hartford, Connecticut, USA, Mr. John Lawson. And from San Juan, Puerto Rico, Senor Jose Rivera. And inside the ring, the referee in charge of the action, working for the 139th time in a world title bout from Leeds, England, Mr. Mickey Van. And now, for the thousands in attendance here in Manchester, England, and the millions watching around the world, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble! Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, wearing gold with black, official weight 12 stone even, 168 pounds. His professional record an outstanding one, 20 victories including 13 knockouts, only one defeat with 2 bouts even. And he is unbeaten in the last 4 years. Originally from Cameroon, but now living, fighting and training out of Sydney, Australia, the most worthy challenger, Sakio. And fighting out of the blue corner, wearing black with white. Official weight, 12 stone even, 168 pounds. He has a perfect professional record consisting of 41 bouts, 41 victories including 31 knockouts, with 24 of those knockouts in 4 rounds or less. For almost a decade, he has ruled his division as a champion, making 18 title defenses successfully, and he is now recognized as pound for pound among the best fighters in the world. From Newbridge in Wales, presenting the reigning, defending, undefeated WBO IBF Super Middleweight Champion of the World, the Fighting Pride of Great Britain, Calzaghe.
Okay, fellas, you both had your instructions in the dressing room. Just obey my commands at all time. I want no notice with the head. Shake hands, very corners. Good luck, fellas.
Joe Calzaghe looks back over his shoulder at Sakio Bika, and the first thing you notice there as they stand face to face is that Bika is in terrific shape. He's a big fella, half an inch or so taller than Joe Calzaghe, who stands 6 foot, and look at the sort of condition that he's in. The question, though, apart from just strength, is he going to have the boxing skill to live with Joe Calzaghe, who this week has said that it just depends on him. He says, if I fight at my best, no way this man can beat me. Well, Calzaghe now 34. How many of those virtuoso performances does he still have left in the bag? 12 3-minute rounds, and here we go, the action underway. Calzaghe been a professional since back in 1993. And certainly for my money, that performance against Lacey was one of the very best performances I've ever seen by a British fighter, or indeed any fighter in the ring. Bika just catching Calzaghe with a chopping right hand as he gets in close. He's not afraid to dish it out with a few of the naughties, as Mickey Van would say, with the use of the head. And straight away, Calzaghe's right into his face. And Calzaghe, if he does have a failing, or can have a failing, sometimes it's that he does get dragged into macho toe-to-toe wars of fights when he doesn't really need to do so.
Calzaghe has to be extremely careful tonight. This could easily be a much tougher fight than the Lacey fight, because this guy really has nothing to lose and everything to gain. You know, he's fighting for the championship of the world, and he's got pound for pound one of the best fighters in the world in front of him. Joe's got to box a sensible fight in the first quarter of this fight.
One of the key factors maybe as well is that left hand of Calzaghe almost strayed low there as he came in and tried to throw a body shot at Bika, is that left hand has been a lot of a problem in fights in years gone by. Fought against Evans Ashira, remember, last year. Then it was with that damaged hand. He had to fight almost one-handed for much of the fight, and against Robin Reed going back, much of the same. And Calzaghe lands with a good straight left in close. Roars of support from the cornermen, and Calzaghe is trying to turn this one right into a brawl in the opening round.
Wrong tactic, John, sorry, wrong tactic. I just, you know, Bika's a real strong kid. Calzaghe's got to give him respect, because he can't just walk in and have a punch up with this kid.
Bika getting in with the body shots as Calzaghe comes in close and ties Bika up inside. Calzaghe trying to use the superior speed there. A couple of good body shots and picks Bika off with two flashing hooks to the head as well. But Bika, you can see, terrifically strong, leaning on.
Joe's got to be very careful about head clashes. Obviously, Bika's used to being in fights like this, and has demonstrated previously in his last World Championship fight how dangerous he can be with the head.
Well, interesting sort of opening round, and Calzaghe showing that he's only too ready to get in close and mix it with Bika. Good body shots from Calzaghe, and Bika felt those, forced back onto the ropes. Last few seconds of a fascinating opening period. And Bika made to miss with that wild left hook. He missed by some distance. Calzaghe landing more shots in the opening round.
And make sure you put the uppercut.
Interesting old-fashioned exchange of glances from Calzaghe and Bika as they stared into each other's eyes at the end of the first round. This is not Calzaghe jabbing and moving as he did against Lacey. This is Calzaghe wanting to show that he's more than just a boxer, that he's a strong man, and he's prepared to take Bika's strength away from him. It's the macho man approach. Is it wise, I wonder?
Well, OK, John, if you look at it like that from the television's point of view, HBO's point of view, that's what they want to see. But what we need to see is Calzaghe go back to the brilliant form that got him the victory over Lacey.
Enzo Calzaghe, who's been alongside his son, of course, right the way through his amateur and pro career, said he didn't want to hear talk about the stunning performance this time. He said, forget about Lacey, think about this man. And the only thing which matters at the end of the day is the W, the win. Can Calzaghe actually get the win to keep the story going?
Well, you know, Bika's not going to get a second chance to make a first impression on Calzaghe.
Good left hand from Calzaghe, solid shot, and another one. But Bika clipped him with a counter.
Joe's got to be careful on his way, and he's got to keep that chin down when he starts to unload, because that's when Bika is at his most dangerous.
Calzaghe wanting Bika moved away by the referee, and Mickey Van saying, no, you're holding on, fight your way away from it. Good right hand this time from Calzaghe, and Bika is not throwing as many punches quite clearly as Calzaghe, and that's a good attack from Calzaghe, but he doesn't want to get caught by those swinging counters from Bika.
You're laying on, Sakio, come on!
You're laying on, Sakio, come on, that was the instruction from Mickey Van.
Bika's trying to use his physical strength just to try and slow Calzaghe down. So if he can lean on him where he's physically equally as strong as Calzaghe, that works in his favour.
Calzaghe now just waiting for Bika. He likes a fighter to come at him, does Calzaghe. Always at his best when he's against somebody who wants to force the fight. The stinkers on his record, and let's be honest about it, there have been one or two. If you go back and think about that fight against David Starry all those years ago, there have been one or two dodgy ones for Calzaghe, and he's looked best against aggressive types.
He certainly has. He's like a matador against the ball. When he's got the guys coming at him, he spears him with that lovely southpaw jab and the silky smooth skills that he has.
Little complaint to the referee from Calzaghe, and Bika getting told off. Think again for holding and leaning on. Last few seconds of the second round. Calzaghe a bit of showboating and a terrific left hand and another one. And Bika couldn't avoid him. Well, the showboating at the end from Calzaghe. And what was that about? There was punches clearly thrown after the end of the round. And that was dramatic, to say the least, and Calzaghe showing contempt for Bika at the end. One shot, straight on the button, hands low, and another one. That time Bika just misses. The bell goes sometime just after this, and the punches just keep on going.
Well, Bika didn't like the shot he took after the bell from Calzaghe and just bit the bullet and went after him.
Well, and then Calzaghe used a bit of the taunt, and a lot of purists don't like to see that. Well, what about that? Into the third round. Calzaghe must be winning it, but Mickey Van now saying, come on, cut it out. Let's stick to the letter of the law.
Yeah, Joe's won the first two rounds for me. Busier, a better presence in the ring. Bika's just a little bit crude.
Calzaghe again with the gloves low, taunting Bika, inviting him to come in. This 19th defence equals, among others, Eusebio Pedrosa, who shared the ring memorably with Barry McGuigan, with Henry Armstrong, Hurricane Hank.
Well, sure, you know,
welterweight champion of the 30s and 40s, Homicide Hank, I should say.
Yeah, Calzaghe's obviously made a reasonable amount of money in boxing, John, but respect is the ultimate currency for Joe Calzaghe. He's not interested in like the big fortunes now. He wants the public's adulation and the boxing writers' respect, and the only way he's going to get that is to take guys like this out.
Duke, I must just ask you, just look at Bika's protected guard. It is so high. Well, that was a wild right hand and it missed by a country mile. But Calzaghe's inviting it in. What about that guard of Bika's?
Yeah, the cup's right up to his chest. It's one of them old-fashioned ones, John, to protect him from the body shots. It rides up. It doesn't matter where he starts it from, even if it's down by his waist. Once he starts jumping up and down, it rides its way up. So that's it. That helps him.
Bika never been stopped. Only one defeat against the very awkward Sam Solomon. That was back in 2002. Calzaghe at the moment not looking to me as though he's as sharp as he was against Lacey.
Well, it's a completely different fighter, obviously, John, and this guy brings a lot more physical strength than what Lacey ever did. He's a lot more raw, he's rugged.
Calzaghe 3 times an ABA champion before he turned professional, and of course never defeated in 41 professional fights. Good body shot, good left hand.
Oh, beautiful little turn there by Calzaghe. Dropped his hands, invited Bika and spun him round. Now it's Bika that's in the corner where Calzaghe was.
Well, Bika's starting to look a little bit frustrated. He He's strong, and when he leans on like that, he's certainly the match of Calzaghe for sheer brute physical strength. And there was a right uppercut went in there. Calzaghe contemptuously keeping those gloves low and throwing in what he hopes are going to be decisive hooks.
Oh, this boy's strong, John. I tell you, he's very, very physically very strong.
And once again, a bit of mickey taking from Calzaghe as he pats him on the top of the head.
Come on.
In that Calzaghe fight, in that Calzaghe corner, I tell you, his father Enzo is not at all happy with the tactics that his son has adopted so far. He thinks that he's sloppy, he thinks that he's throwing too many attempted knockout shots and not boxing his way into the fight. He wants to see him throw the jab, Duke.
Well, what Joe's started, I mean, his father's right, because there's a lot of pressure on Calzaghe tonight to look good. Everybody expects him to win, but the TV wants him to look good. And in doing so, it will set up the massive mega fights that are out there for him. But he's got to go back to doing exactly what he does best, and that's get behind that southpaw jab, hold the centre of the ring, and just get the presence of the ring from there. Keep Bika on the back foot, pepper him, and just outbox him.
I'll tell you one thing we've already seen is that Bika can take a shot. He can take those hooks when Calzaghe's landed, and when he leans on, Bika, terrifically well conditioned, looks arguably the stronger man. Maybe that's just an impression. That's a good shot from Calzaghe, but Bika takes it well again. Good chin.
Yeah, he certainly is a strong man, John, as what he said, but oh, that's a good uppercut from Bika on the inside.
Calzaghe said beforehand he's quoted at 50-1 on by the bookies. Believe that one. And Calzaghe said, I wouldn't take 50-1 on in a fight between a lion and a mouse. Well, maybe that's carrying it a little bit too far, but Bika's giving him trouble in here, just with sheer physical strength. Possibility, remember, of big fights down the line. There's whispers about Bernard Hopkins coming out of retirement to face Calzaghe. Maybe the winner of the Kessler-Bayer fight in Copenhagen tonight. And we'll hopefully see some of the action from that one a little bit later on.
Yeah, Calzaghe's got to, when he gets in close to Bika, and the infringements start, he's got to turn his head away, because that's when the infringements could get a little bit nasty. The heads might start coming in. Bika's very dangerous with the right uppercut.
Another one goes in right on cue, and now Calzaghe tries to start putting his punches together more effectively, and a buzz of acclaim from his fans at ringside. Oh, and Calzaghe almost out of the ring, and you cannot do that. And Mickey Van quickly in there. And now, is he going to take a point off Bika? I wonder. He's certainly going to give him a big, big lecture. I don't think he's going to take the point away, but he quite easily could have done.
Well, it was unintentional, John, because as Calzaghe went through, the punches were already on the way. I've got Calzaghe winning all the 3 rounds, all the 3 completed rounds so far. Just needs to really just start getting back to his boxing, pop the jab, put the points in the bag, and his fight will come together.
Solid body shot again from Bika. He's lunging in a little behind his punches, Calzaghe, trying to get in range to land what he thinks will be winning hooks. The left hook, remember, is the one which over the years has done so much damage to so many fighters. That was the punch which put Chris Eubank on his backside back in 1997. And Eubank said he'd never been hit so hard. Well, look at this. Bika is prepared to go toe-to-toe with Calzaghe. The heads go in. Calzaghe calls out, he's cut. He's cut badly.
Call referee.
Mickey!
There's the cut over the left eye, and here's how it happened. It was a head press. Heads went in, and Enzo Calzaghe saying it wasn't an accident, it was a headbutt. And Frank Warren protesting to the referee, Mickey Van, and they put a smear of grease over Calzaghe's left eyebrow, but blood is still seeping down from what looked to me to be a pretty bad cut. Now, was that a deliberate headbutt?
No, it wasn't a deliberate shot, a headbutt, John. But it was unavoidable. There's a clash of styles here, and this is how Bika fights. This is his normal kind of a fight. Now Joe's got to go back to doing what he does naturally and what he does best. He's got to change his game plan. He's got the experience enough to do just that. He can win this fight, but he can do it now at range instead of getting in to a dogfight with this guy. Turn your head away on the inside. Don't look to the referee to separate you.
It's worth saying as well that there's no chance now of the sort of technical draw that Bika got against Marcus Byer, because this now has gone 4 rounds, so it goes to the cards. So this fight will now have a positive result one way or the other, one would assume. It won't be a draw as a result of a cut. And Calzaghe complaining all the time about Bika's use of the head.
See, Joe's fighting on anger now. He's really angry. He's got the cut. He lost his temper at the end of the round, which is partly how the cut was caused. And
good left hand, Duke. Good left hand. And Bika rocked back by that, but takes it well.
He does take a good shot. Calzaghe just got to put the punches together in bunches, keep this guy at bay.
Calzaghe, angry, cuts, and there's another one round the back of the head from Bika, and the head goes in again from Bika, and Calzaghe's protesting to the referee. He is furious about this, and now Mickey Van tells Bika once again, do not use the head. Is he going to take the point away? Boos and jeers from the crowd, and he has. He's taken the point away for deliberate use of the head.
That's about right, John. It was blatant.
Blatant use of the head from Sakio Bika in the 5th round, point deducted. Calzaghe is absolutely livid in there, but he's allowed himself to get dragged into Sakio Bika's sort of fight. And look at the damage again, starting underneath the left eye as well as over it now, of Joe Calzaghe, and it's the head which has done the vast majority of the damage around that eye.
Calzaghe's got to keep that head moving. He's just got to pepper him with the jab, keep the punches flowing nicely, keep the chin down when he goes out. That's better by Joe.
Doubling up on the jab, good handwork, good speed work from Calzaghe. In and out, landing to the body and stepping back. Not allowing himself to get caught in those... Oh, that's a good right hand though from Bika. Calzaghe felt that one.
Yeah, they give one to take one, the pair of them. You know, Calzaghe just doesn't like getting hit, and when he does, he loses it.
Closing seconds of a dramatic 5th round. Calzaghe finishing strongly. But Bika is a hungry, hungry fighter. Turning into a war, this one.
He's got to keep his chin down. He's got to keep his chin down.
He was caught by a terrific shot from Bika as he just walked into that one, Calzaghe. Calzaghe is finding it a hard night, and that's the reason. The head once again of Sakio Bika, and that was the moment that caused him to have a point taken away.
Well, John, you know, I've said this before, but somebody should put a glove on Bika's head because he's using that plenty. Calzaghe's just got to keep a nice high guard, keep his chin down, and look at the beautiful work that he did behind the jab at the end of that last round.
In the 6th round now. Championship distance, let me remind you, 12 rounds.
Calzaghe can stand this man on his head, he really can, with his natural boxing southpaw skills. But Bika's just, you know, he's very cagey, he's very dangerous. He loops in right-handers over the top. He throws a nice right uppercut when they're in close. And obviously, when all else fails, he gets the head working.
I've said in the Calzaghe corner, just get back to your boxing, box this man, and that's what Calzaghe's trying to do now here in the 6th round. The contemptuous stuff of the early rounds when he was swinging in those hooks, that's gone and the head's going again, and Calzaghe, I think, arguably trying to return fire with fire there. He was almost leading in with the head, and he's dropping his gloves again, and that is tempting fate. What is he doing in there?
Well, Bika's corner, they've seen that Bika can get through with the right hand when he throws it, and he's throwing it and landing and getting good success behind it. Caught him again. Keep your chin down.
Leapt in behind the right hand, did Sakio Bika. And you can hear perhaps in the background, get that right hand going. That's the shouts of Angelo Haider, Bika's manager, and again the heads clash and rub inside. I think Calzaghe at the moment in that respect is giving as much as he's taking.
Yeah, he's getting very frustrated in there. He's playing Bika at his own game and not quite coming off on top.
Another right hand from Bika comes through, and Calzaghe cannot afford to let him do that. Bika is giving Joe Calzaghe all the trouble he needs here, nearing the halfway stage of the fight, and at not one point really has Bika been staggered.
These are better punches by Calzaghe on the inside now, just starting to find his range with the combinations.
But just look at the determination on Sakio Bika's head, on Sakio Bika's face. How much does he want this?
See what Bika's doing on the inside, he's kind of switching southpaw to lead with the right hand lead.
The crowd trying to stir Calzaghe to yet greater exertions. Stamping and chanting from the fans, many of whom have made their way up from Wales. Calzaghe trying to work that jab. He's having problems getting past the right hand of Bika. Sakio Bika, we were told, fights like a wild animal. There's Joe Calzaghe's girlfriend. I wonder what she's making of this fight.
Well, John, I think the key to victory for Calzaghe will be anticipation. He can counterpunch this man to death if he just times it right.
Well, I've got Calzaghe ahead in the fight, but he is cut. If he can just keep on doing that, keep on peppering Bika with the jab, then he should be able to box his way through. But Bika is so strong; he's not been moved.
He certainly hasn't, and when Bika feels himself being outboxed, that's when he's really kind of dangerous, because then he starts taking the fight to Calzaghe and gets really naughty.
Calzaghe saw that big swing from Bika coming from a long way off and was able to just block it almost contemptuously. But he's certainly got a huge amount more respect for Bika than he had earlier on.
Well, Bika's timing the right hand to perfection at the moment.
Was just to worry about how well Calzaghe was going to be able to motivate himself, how well he could get up for a fighter who he regarded as perhaps of not being in his class. Heads going again, and Calzaghe protests to the referee, and it really caught Calzaghe pretty flush. I think it was the forehead of Bika once again which went hammering in, and Calzaghe protested. And I tell you what, Sakio Bika for any sort of fighter is an absolute nightmare, because the head comes forward crashing in again and again.
The thing is also, John, when he took the head shot, Bika followed that with a right hand, so John's taking two really hard shots on the jaw. That knocks your senses a little bit. It sends you out of your game plan.
Enzo Calzaghe said the jab's crucial, and here comes Calzaghe. Bika shrugging his shoulders as much as to say, well, I'm not hurt, what are you doing? The cuts perhaps shouldn't be a problem, Calzaghe's father was saying, if you can just work behind the jab. Well, that's all well and good, but this is Calzaghe's instinct. Joe Calzaghe is not a man to stand back. He does get dragged into exchanges, and here he is trying to just out-macho Bika again, and a big attack from Calzaghe. Bika takes them all.
This guy's mostly, he's made of teak wood. He's just as hard as they come. I mean, we kind of feared that this would be a much harder fight than Lacey, and I'm telling you, that's exactly how it's working out. Joe's got to be on his game tonight, he really does, right up until the final bell. Bika will not be denied.
Get your arm out, tighten it up, come on.
There again, the head of Bika as Calzaghe ducks in. Referee having a word with Bika once more. He's already had 1 point taken. Is he going to have another one? Well, not at this point. Well, what a really, really tough fight this is turning out to be for Joe Calzaghe. Take a look again, and this has been, once again, oh, look at that. That was, you could feel the pain of that. It was right onto the temple.
I tell you, Joe Calzaghe in the morning is going to know he's been in a fight.
What we want you to do is move on your feet, breathe, breathe.
How are you scoring it, Duke? Let's take a look at how it's going at this stage on your card. Well, I've got it a bit closer than that. You've got it by 6 points. I've got it a wee bit closer than that.
Amateur style, right? This round, amateur style. Light, rhythm and timing, amateur style.
Okay.
He's starting to blow, you know.
Calzaghe corner, and Enzo Calzaghe, animated as always, trying to stir his son on to yet greater endeavours. 8th round coming up. Calzaghe talked this week about maybe even going on in the next couple of years to emulate the great Joe Louis. Joe Louis, as he was known over here, Joe Louis in the United States, great heavyweight champion of the 30s and 40s, 25 successful defences he had. And Calzaghe wants to stay around for a couple of years and to keep on winning. He's got to get past this fella first. They've done a pretty good job working on that damaged left eye.
Oh, when Calzaghe does this and he stands at range and just puts the punches together like that in little combinations, you know, Bika doesn't have a clue as to what to do.
He's so strong though, he's not been moved, Bika, at any stage.
No, he's full of confidence, John. I watched his ring walk and he had the same look in his face when he was walking to the ring as he does now. Totally impassive, like a poker player.
I'm not here for a holiday, he said. Well, he certainly proved that. Not a man to upset, Sakio Bika. Calzaghe leaning in behind the jab and once again getting dragged into that maul, and the head's going in close.
Well, it's the only place that Bika can have any real success is if he's in close.
It's better from Calzaghe, in and out, using his hand speed and mobility.
Yeah, better boxing by Calzaghe now. Finally got his boxing brain on. Doesn't have to get involved with Bika, just keep touching him with that jab, follow through the straight lefts, and then just keep giving the lateral movement. Lovely straight left, good shot by Calzaghe.
It's starting to have the look of a fight which is going to go the distance, this one. The work rate of both men dropping a little here in this 8th round. Certainly not been the virtuoso performance which some might have expected from Calzaghe, but it takes two to tango in boxing, and Bika would be a handful for anybody.
Yeah, he's rough and he's ready, John. And this is where he's most effective, when he's got Calzaghe up close.
Good little flurry of punches inside from Calzaghe, finding their way through to the head of Bika. Made to miss a little bit uncomfortably.
I don't think Bika's landed a glove in this round on Joe.
Last few seconds of the 8th round. The fight now looks as though it is going the way of Joe Calzaghe. They've done a good job on that cut and that cruising around the left eye. And Sakio Bika's cornerman saying, you are not doing what we've told you. You're not throwing right hands. You've got to be first with the right hand to the southpaw stance of Calzaghe. And they were clearly imploring their man to up his work rate because the fight, they believe, is slipping away.
That's about right, John. He needs some big rounds to turn this one around. It's just Calzaghe's outboxing him over the last couple of rounds.
Enzo Calzaghe warned fans, warned armchair fans as well, that it might not be pretty. The most important thing is to win it. And Calzaghe's found a way past. Good left hand from Calzaghe. He was caught by the counter, but that was more of a stumble than anything else. The power shot in there was the solid left hand from Calzaghe.
Calzaghe's got to be careful. He's trying a 1-2, and then he's just sort of falling in on top of Bika. He's got to be very careful about the heads there.
Yeah, Bika's complaining to the referee now about Joe Calzaghe's use of the head.
Well, it was unintentional after that last little combination.
Certainly not a tea party in there tonight. Oh, Calzaghe caught by a right hand. Bika trying to use his strength to drag Calzaghe once more into a brawl.
Yeah, Bika's corner is saying to him, hit the cut, and it'll open up, and that's about right. The little 1-2s, you know, the straight rights that he's throwing it right on the cut. That hurt, Joe.
Good left hand from Bika, the left hand lead. He turned the glove as he came in and caught Calzaghe, and Calzaghe just for a moment wanted to lean on and buy a moment or two. What a grueling fight this is turning out to be. Sakio Bika is still right in his face, and he's absolutely unmarked, you know.
Calzaghe doing a good job in keeping his chin down, particularly when he pulls out of these close exchanges. But he is in the pound-for-pound category, and you would expect him over the last quarter of this fight now to show why.
Heads going in again from both men. Been a messy brawl of a fight, this one. Calzaghe, I suspect, will say after this that this has been as hard as any fight he's had in his professional career. He's been tagged by that right hand now, and he's caught again, this time by a left from Bika. The African having greater success in the 9th round.
He has had to throw caution to the wind, Bika. He needed a round, and he's won this round.
He's certainly won this round, and he's opened up that cut again around the left eye of Calzaghe and beating him to the jab. This is a good round for Bika. Caught Calzaghe in the closing seconds, a right hand right on the bell, and that was a bad round for Calzaghe. That's how we're reading it. Let's find out what Barry McGuigan makes of it.
It was an absolutely bad round. I agree. That's the first round he's lost clearly, Calzaghe. But Calzaghe, this is going to be the toughest 9 minutes of his career. He's got to get his act together. I agree with Duke. He lost his composure early on, probably carried away with the moment, and got too excited, lost his composure, didn't stick to his boxing. Now he's got to show the heart of a champion, hold his boxing together, box this guy, keep him at range, pick him off, and not get caught with any sloppy, untidy punches, because this guy's immensely strong, and he's going to come on really strong.
He was caught at the closing stages, and you can hear in the Bika store, in the Bika corner, they're saying he is tired.
Yeah, they love it. They love what they've just seen in that round.
Bring it over and open
You can expect a real big round from Bika now.
You pushed him back that round.
10th round of 12, Calzaghe we think is ahead, but Bika is coming on strong. The crowd trying to raise the Welsh champion. Joe, the champ goes up.
He'll need the crowd to lift him now, Calzaghe. I mean, he's winning the fight. I've got him winning the fight quite comfortably, but he just needs to keep his game on.
He's got to box, he's got to stay away from trouble. He can't afford to get dragged into the sort of maul where Bika is at his strongest, and there you see, pull Calzaghe around. That's not a knockdown, but Calzaghe trying to go toe-to-toe with Bika, and straight away into trouble with the terrifically strong man from Cameroon.
Obviously what Bika lacks in technique, he makes up with just raw aggression. And now he's looking for that honey punch.
Lennox Lewis sitting just a few feet away from where we're commentating. Wonder what the former world heavyweight champion's making of this one. He's reading this fight for HBO, the American network, who are taking this. They've got around about 30 million subscribers around the United States, and this one going free to air in America, so there are millions of people watching Calzaghe in the United States, and they are seeing him have a tough night.
It's getting messy in there, John. Both boxers are guilty of fouling. Bika's been like a caged animal in there, he really has, at times.
Well, the referee didn't say break. Calzaghe's within his rights to do that. Bika didn't like it. And look at this, Bika is angry now. He's the angry man.
Don't get involved, Joe, just pepper him. Show him your class, show him your boxing skills, just touch him with a jab, then follow through.
Calzaghe, a wild-looking right hand. He was almost nailed by a right uppercut counter inside. Mickey Van's had a busy night. What was it? 139th world title fight. Oh, and Calzaghe doesn't want to get drawn into that. Look at Frank Warren in the background shouting at Calzaghe, get your gloves up, protect yourself.
Well, John, it's turned into a free-for-all. You know, Bika, he was like a... it was almost like he was a prisoner to the ring, so the bell set him free, and now he's just going for it.
Bika trying to bully Calzaghe around, getting the head in close. Calzaghe again allowing his gloves to drop low. This is energy sapping and grueling.
Calzaghe can't afford to take any kind of unnecessary risks. Box, 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 that's all he has to do to hang on to his championship.
Use your discipline, use a sense of discipline. That's the message. And Calzaghe had another ragged round there. I think he's winning this, but he's having to dig so deep. Look at Frank Warren
told you
there.
everything, you've done everything opposite. Everything opposite.
He is not happy. And here's some of the action again from that round. Calzaghe dragged around by Bika. Just for a moment I thought there was a shot going to go in while he was on the floor. Look at this.
Well, it was like, you know, two gunfighters in the middle of the street just taking shots at one another. They were just going for it.
It's pub car park stuff, that.
Sure.
You should have done that long time ago. Okay, now guess what? Don't worry about it. You're worried about him. Get the jab working. Bring that uppercut in. Bring that uppercut in.
Don't fall into a swinging match.
You've got to keep this inside.
The man with nothing to lose has everything to gain, and he's still in there pitching. Enzo Calzaghe is trying to stir Joe to greater things. Calzaghe, we think, is ahead, but Bika is still there, still dangerous, immensely strong. Less than 2 rounds to go. Calzaghe in his 19th title defence.
Calzaghe's right eye starting to swell up as well now, John.
They're talking about him fighting again in February. I'll tell you what, it'll be a week or two before the bruising heals and the cut heals. Look at that again, the heads clash inside.
This guy's still in there, John. He's still physically just as strong in this round as he was in the first. But it's good to see him start sort of showing out to the referee the distress signals.
Calzaghe now just needs to work away behind the jab and try and stick to his boxing. Easier said than done, though, as it has been throughout. The man who has the ring nickname the Scorpion, Sakio Bika, not because of his stinging punches, but because he was actually bitten by a scorpion when he was 12, and it almost cost him his life. And thereafter, that was his nickname. The Scorpion is still in there and is still dangerous.
Yes, Calzaghe wants to hold on now. He's got to be tired, John. It's been as physical fight as he could ever have won. And every time he gets close to Bika, he has to hang on to him, because that's where Bika's so dangerous. Joe should pepper him, just try and pepper him with a jab. Pick the jab. Shoot the left hand straight down the middle.
Well, it's almost too late now for any sort of change of tactics. We've seen how the fight is. Calzaghe going back to work with the jab, trying to stick to his boxing skills. But we just know that at some stage, once again, he's going to get dragged into the maul and the brawl. Heads again.
There he comes
Bika
again.
coming, boring forward, catches Calzaghe once more with a right hand.
Oh, this guy's a nightmare to fight, John. He's like an octopus, his arms are everywhere. He uses everything he's got. I mean, you'd expect that in World Championship boxing.
Be interesting to hear what the two corners have got to say at the end of this round. Heads once again. And Calzaghe protesting to the referee. But it's his head, it's in the face of Bika this time. And I think it'll be Calzaghe who gets the ticking off. It is indeed. Last few seconds of the 11th round. There you are. Calzaghe caught right on the bell by a right uppercut. Close round, that one. Grueling fight this has been. Let's go to the corners and hear what's being said.
Breathe, this is the last round. Breathe. Listen, son. Breathe. Listen.
Pull that short.
Suck it in.
Pull me up. Pull the shorts up. Listen.
This is it. This is it.
Now suck it in, Zach. Look at me.
Breathe. Just breathe.
Right. This round is the last round. You're going to have to knock him out. So you're going to have to go forward. And you're going to get straight punches. Work your guts out. You can knock him out. If you want to be world champion, you have to get everything is left in your body this round. You've got to do it.
You've got to go to war here. Like
go to war.
You're letting him come on to you. Don't let it too late.
Don't start swinging him, Joe. I'm telling you, mate.
Through the straight lanes. Through the straight lanes. He's
going to come like a train there, straight punch.
He's going to come like a train, is the last bellowed instructions of Dean Powell in the corner of Calzaghe. Calzaghe 5 points ahead on Duke McKenzie's card. It's a little bit closer on mine, but certainly the Australian corner believe that their man has got to knock Joe Calzaghe out if he is to win this fight. 3 minutes remaining of what has been a messy brawl of a fight, but dramatic in its own way. Calzaghe has 3 minutes to just box to retain his title, we think.
Well, Bika, needs to knock out Calzaghe. Just stay on his toes because he's a different class. When he gets up on his toes and starts popping the jab, plenty of lateral movement, nice quick shots.
And Calzaghe is having to take shots from Bika as Bika comes ploughing forward and looks at the referee. There's a low one gone in, and Calzaghe doesn't like it, and Bika being ordered away to the corner. Timeout, says referee Mickey Van, and Calzaghe caught by a low one, he claims. Was on the blind side, I have to say, from where I was watching. Couldn't see from my point at ringside. And Mickey Van's going to have another word now with Bika, and is he going to take a point away? No, I don't think so. I think he's just saying to these two fighters, come on, let's just have a proper fight in the last couple of minutes or so. It'll almost be interesting to hear from Mickey Van at the end of this, because it's been one of the dirtiest fights that I can remember for a long time.
Yeah, Van would have said, clean up your act. You professional world champion, and you Bika challenger, clean up your act. Oh boy, has this been a real tough one.
It has been one very, very tough fight indeed.
Well, Bika hasn't made Calzaghe look good tonight.
That's an understatement.
He's had to, really drag it up from every kind of drenches that he's got, just to keep ahead.
Look at that, the left hand around the back of the head from Calzaghe. Clash of heads again inside. Look at that. And the referee's got to have a word with Bika, surely, and he is. He's allowing him to carry on. Mickey Van allowing Bika to fight on. Calzaghe has dished out his own fair share of the rough stuff himself. Takes a right hand as Bika comes crowding in again, trying to just find that one bingo punch in the last minute of this round. With more time remaining than that clock tells you, because of course there has been the stoppage because of the low blow.
I'll tell you something, John, there won't be a return. There'll be no return clause in this contract.
No, I don't think Joe Calzaghe will be going looking for a return with this fella. And I strongly suspect that Mikkel Kessler, if he wins tonight in the fight against Marcus Beyer, that he won't be wanting too much of this man either, because he is such a handful, and he's coming forward again, immensely strong, and you have to give him huge credit for giving Calzaghe one of the hardest nights of his career. Physically, certainly, if not in terms of a boxing test, Calzaghe has really had to dig so very deep.
John, I have to reiterate what you just said. This is Calzaghe's hardest fight today. Nobody's given him a hard time like this before. Not over 12 rounds, just doesn't happen. This guy's been in there, and Joe's had to fight for every inch and every round.
Calzaghe trying to provide the grandstand finish. He's tagged by a left hand as he leaned in close. And there you go. End of the fight. Calzaghe hugs Sakio Bika. He thinks that he's done enough to win it. I would suspect that is probably the case, but what a very, very hard night that has been for Joe Calzaghe. Sakio Bika has made him fight all the way. That cut to the left eye came so very early. Clashes of heads. Bika had a point taken, and it was just typical throughout. There was a low one from Calzaghe, and look at that. Calzaghe gave a little low one, and then the response was that.
Bika's idea was, you know what, if he's going to give me some, I'm going to give him some back.
Clash of heads as well. And this, I suppose, again, summing up the whole fight. Calzaghe trying so hard to land flurries of punches, but Bika just kept on coming. What a hard fight. And now we await the judges' deliberations. An English judge, Phil Edwards, an American judge, John Lawson, and Rivera of Puerto Rico. Bika, I don't think, can possibly think he's done enough to win that. He was told by his corner he'd got to have the knockout. Calzaghe holding his arm above his head, waving to the crowd, thanking them for their support. A very, very different fight to the fight against Jeff Lacey back in March. He thinks he's won it. His father, Enzo, he said at a very early stage it could be a mess. Don't expect necessarily for things to look fantastic. The win is what matters. Now, has he got the win? We can find out, I think, and join in the ring our Master of Ceremonies tonight, Michael Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, we go to the scorecards. Jose Rivera and John Lawson both have the bout 117, 110. Phil Edwards scores at 116, 111. All three to the winner by unanimous decision. Still undefeated. Still WBO, IBF Super Middleweight Champion of the World,
Calzaghe retains his belts. The story goes on, victorious once more. 117, 110 on two cards, 116 and 111 on the third. We had it much the same. Barry McGuigan scored it 117, 111. Duke had it by a margin of around about 6 rounds. Calzaghe winning it emphatically, but what a hard night's work. Boxing can be a very tough game. He had to fight it ugly in there tonight, Calzaghe, or if he didn't have to, he certainly dragged into an ugly fight. Cut early on, you can see the damage there around that left eye, and Joe Calzaghe will not be forgetting Sakio Bika in a hurry. Just making his way now to the corner, and I think now we can join Jim Rosenthal, who's with the man who's still champion, Joe Calzaghe.
Joe, how hard was that fight for you? The toughest of your career?
Not at all. Basically, I'm not making excuses. You know, tell Frank, I don't want to keep on going on with the hand injury. I pulled out in July, injured my hand, and basically went to this fight with no sparring. And I was away. I was taking a 50-50 gamble fight in a fight with not a great hand. So I'm disappointed with the performance. Couldn't get off to what I'd like to get off. You know, so win's a win. But of course, I'm disappointed. I wanted to put on a spectacle. He was a dirty fighter. He got caught quite a lot with the head. I just couldn't get off. You know, I wasn't 100% tonight, and it showed.
Were you over keen to impress tonight, do you think, with that American audience there as well?
Possibly. Maybe, I wasn't too, keen on my sharpness, in ring sharpness, and maybe I was looking for the early knockout, and it was disappointing that I couldn't finish it, and obviously I didn't get off. It was a bit of a disappointing fight. But listen, at the end of the day, we're not robots, and it's a great fight last time, not so great this time.
It's very unusual to see you there with a mark on your face. They were caused by headbutts, you would say, and you can see them down here, and I think it proves your point.
Yeah, he's coming in with his head all the time.
That's the fourth round.
Yeah, all the time he was coming with his head. He got cut me, and I got a big bruise inside my head. Didn't hurt me at all, his punches. He was strong, physically strong, and cagey, long-armed. And my lack of ring sharpness showed tonight. I'm disappointed, but win's a win. And at the end of the day, I'm looking forward to getting back. I'm doing a good performance.
Right. Just finally, tactically, did you get this one right?
Probably not. Maybe I was a bit too hasty to start with, looking for the knockout. Maybe a bit too excited. I used to do that a bit in my early career. And didn't quite get off. He was a lot more cagey than I thought. Right. Holding on the inside, coming with his head, and he lasted 12 rounds. It's
still a W on the record. You're still unbeaten, Joe, and you gave us entertainment, high-quality entertainment. It probably wasn't entertaining for you in there.
Not really, but listen, hopefully next time I'll be back my best.
Well done, Joe.
Thank you.
OK, let's move across and have a little word with Frank Warren here, shall we? Frank, were you upset with him there?
Yeah, I was, especially with his showboating and dropping his hands. I don't like that. Joe's a tremendous, for me, he's a tremendous fighter. He's a great boxer. But he was hampered with that bad cut. It's a terrible cut. You look at it, and Frank Black in the corner done a great job on it. But you know, the one thing you can't doubt with Joe Calzaghe, he's got a fighter's heart.
You wanted big paydays for him in the spring. Is that still on after this performance, do you think?
Oh, absolutely. Of course it is. You know, we're going for the big fight in late February, early March. That is a definite.
Holding his hands down there, like that must have terrified you.
Well, it does. I don't like any fighters doing it, and he knows better than that. But at the end of the day, like he said, he entertained, and you know, not my cup of tea sometimes, but maybe I'm a bit too much of a purist.
Okay, Frank, thank you very much indeed.